What's going on, guys? My name is Doug. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. I'm really glad you guys decided to tune in today, as we're going to be listening to this album that you guys have been asking for quite a while now, Nudy Land by Young Nudy. I've never heard it, and when I saw all the suggestions, I purposely decided to hold off on listening to it so that I could listen to it on camera, and I finally have got enough time to sit down and record this video. So I'm excited, man. Shout out to the patrons who are getting access to the full version of this video on Patreon. The members of the channel also get access to it. I post the links to the video, the full version, in the community page. So shout out to you guys. I thoroughly appreciate all of your support for the channel. You guys are the best. It is rush hour right now, so forgive me for some of the background noise, like the cars and the motorcycles going by, honking and stuff like that. But yeah, we're finally here. It's finally happening. I'm a fan of Young Nudy. I'm a fan of Pierre Bourne, who produces a lot of his music and has that really classic Pierre Bourne sound. So I'm thinking that this is going to be just 13 bangers, and I'm excited to listen to it. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Be sure to follow my social media, keep up with the channel, subscribe if you haven't. And with that said, we're going to jump into track 1, Judge Scott, Convicted.
I done brought a lot of niggas cause I had to, niggas. I was running them streets, low key with the heat. I ain't had no fucking daddy. Yeah, that good with me motherfucking crying all the time. You bitching all the time.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be real. You guys know that I always give my honest opinion. I'm not a huge fan of that track. I'm not really vibing with it. I think that the production was a little boring. I like the drum pattern. Like, the drums are really nice and they're very bouncy, and the Pierre Bourne did a great job on the drum programming, but the melodies, I'm not feeling them. You know, they're not really grabbing my attention. And then Young Nudy himself also sounded like he was bored as he was rapping. So, you know, I just think that this track is kind of a boring song. Luckily it's short, but I feel like for an intro to the project, you really want to grab the listener's attention. You know, you really want to pique their interest, and this didn't really do it for me. So, you know, I'm just not a fan of the way they executed this. Track 2 is Fat Sane.
Good, hot, yeah, I'm straight on that bitch. I been get so much money, too much cake on y'all nigga for quite next, yeah. 13 years old when I start doing this shit, yeah, real shit.
It's pretty hard. I'm liking these drums, they're really knocking.
I get let big hit, fully automatic my shit. Ain't no telling who on me hit, bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch wanna fuck on me too late, let me the bitch.
Love those very subtle melodies, man. The beat is killer. Yeah, it's not bad. I've got some thoughts. Yeah, the beat is awesome. I love the very subtle little melodies. You know, they kept the melodies very understated, but they have a killer drum pattern. You know, the drums are really knocking. Love that bass. It's nice and fat. I feel like Young Nudy really could have used this beat way better than he actually did. I think he should have come with a little bit more energy, you know? Like, this beat is just, it's knocking so hard, and it's such a fire beat that you don't really want to sound like you're not enthused, you know, like you're kind of underwhelmed by it as you're rapping on it, you know, because that really takes away from what the track could have been. There was a whole lot of potential here. Young Nudy can make very, very fire tracks. I've got tons of his songs on my playlist. Like, you guys have seen the last Young Nudy video that I did. I thoroughly enjoyed that project. I think that here he really could have come with a better performance. You know, the beat is definitely the highlight of this track. Like, I think that there's really nothing wrong with the production at all. And I love the mix. It was very, very clean. You could hear and understand Young Nudy very well, but I just feel like that energy and his performance was lacking a little bit, you know? So could have done with a little bit of that. And Young Nudy is not the most melodic artist, and I feel like that does take away from his game a little bit, you know? Like, I feel like if he had the ability to be a little more melodic, that would really add to him as an artist, and he would really be able to use some of those melodies on this beat, for example. But it kind of gets a little monotone and lackluster, so that's what we want to try to avoid. Hey, hey, hey. Hear the flute? That's what I'm talking about. The ad-libs really add to the energy. That's what I'm looking for. That flute is so good. Yo, Young Nudy is doing his thing, man. He's feeling this beat, you can tell. Yeah, that's a hard beat. Love the flute little melody in the background. I love that it cuts out and leaves only the keys doing that same melody while he's doing his verse, and then the flutes come back in for the chorus. It adds that punch, it adds that energy to the actual chorus. The ad-libs that he did here really add to the energy of the track. It's something that I feel was missing on that last track, like I mentioned. You know, you can tell that he's really into it. You can tell that he's really feeling the beat. and he likes to perform on this track. It sounds like he really showed up, you know, and performed for this song in particular. So I think that he did a great job on that one. I added this one to my playlist. It's definitely a banger and it's fun to listen to. And you can tell Nudy Land, jeez. Young Nudy was having a good time when he made the track. So that's what I'm looking for, you know, that energy. That's a fire song. Loaded Baked Potato is next, track 4. It's really warm, dude. Yo, that bass is crazy. Yeah. I'm not a fan of this performance. This track's kind of falling apart. Yeah, man, I was liking this track at first, but at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the track really starts to fall apart. You know, he goes into this really weird performance, and then he just kind of goes into this like very strange delivery towards the end of the track, and the track just really goes on for too long. Like, it's 4 minutes and 40 seconds long. This track could have been 2 minutes shorter. You know, the beat is really dope, it's hard hitting, it's aggressive, and the hook is great, but he really just falls apart about halfway through the song, and that's just not cool, you know. So I was really enjoying it at the first, and then I went from really enjoying it to just not liking it at all. That's unfortunate. Track 5 is Bermuda. This track is very quiet. This is trash. Who mixed this, dude? Yeah, you know, Pierre really killed the beat, but I don't know who mixed it, because the melodies in the background are really dope, but they were super quiet. The kick barely came in at all, and when it did, it was just way louder than everything else in the beat. It was just mixed super poorly. His vocals, for some reason, just don't feel like they're one with the beat. It feels just like a voice over a track, and I know that's technically what it is, but when you mix it well, it's like your vocals are part of the beat itself. It feels like one thing, and this doesn't feel like I'm listening to one coherent thing. The mix was just really poor. The beat was just so low, and his vocals were just so clean and crisp, and like separated from the beat. And not only that, but his performance is just super underwhelming and kind of boring, and I don't know, man. This track could have been so much better, and it was just executed and performed really, really poorly. So I'm not a fan of that one at all. Track 6 is Barbecue. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This sounds fire. You can have all this shit, shoot 'em off the real nigga playing get flipped. I just be flipping my money, camera. Yeah. I wanna slap me on the grip. I just wanna be the king of the hit. Yeah, I'm a fan of this one. You know, I started off thinking that the hi-hat patterns were a little boring, and that this track was going to be another underwhelming one, but I like this one because it shows a sense of progression in the actual track itself. You know, as his performance gets more and more energetic, the hi-hats get more and more complex, and melodies that we weren't hearing before get added in. So the track kind of builds up to a climax, into a more energetic portion, and it goes back again for another verse, and then it builds up again into a more energetic portion, and I like that. I like that there's that sense of progress. I like that the hi-hats build up and the performance gets more and more layered. I think that this one's pretty dope. Next track is Cancer Stick No Pressure featuring Offset. I'm not a fan of this mix. The beat's cool, his verse is cool, the mix is just kind of really bad. Man, this mix really is atrocious. Offset's verse sounds better. Like, the beat's really cool, and his performance is pretty cool, but the mix just doesn't make any sense, and it makes the track sound bad. Are we really gonna get like a minute of just instrumentals? Are you serious? Alright. There's like over a minute of just instrumentals towards the end that's completely unnecessary. This track could have been like, oh, hold on. You're very cool because you have a very loud motorcycle. This track could have been like a minute and 15 seconds shorter, you know? It just feels like a waste of our time putting the beat on a loop for over a minute at the end of the track. But I could have skipped through it, but I didn't because I didn't know if there was going to be a verse or something coming towards the end. Unfortunately, I had to sit through it. So yeah, I just think that this mix makes no sense. I mentioned it throughout the track. The beat is cool. I like his verse. I like his performance. I like Offset. But the mix just makes the track sound bad. And it's sad that they took these artists' dope performance on the really dope beat and they made it sound like trash. Like for some reason, Young Nudy's voice is just loaded with reverb and none of the rest of the track has a whole lot of reverb on it, so it just makes no sense. There's like this beat that sounds really clean and like close to you and up front and nice and I don't know, there's not a lot of reverb. It doesn't sound like it's being played in a huge loud room, and out of nowhere it just sounds like Young Nudy is performing in like a cathedral and his vocals are just super reverberant and it makes no sense. Offset's verse sounds better because there's not really a whole lot of reverb on his voice, if any. So it sounds like it's cutting through the mix a little better. It sounds like it's cleaner and fits the production a whole lot better than Young Nudy's vocals. And I don't think that was a Young Nudy choice. It might have been, but I really don't think so. I think that was whoever mixed it. You know, I think that was their fault. If it was a Young Nudy choice, then that was a really bad idea. That was a really bad choice to make because his vocals just, again, sound completely separated from the beat. It sounds like we're listening to two different things at the same time instead of just listening to one song, and it makes no sense. For some reason, the melodies are so quiet, the drums aren't hitting very hard, the vocals, you know, they're smushed and they sound staticky almost, and they don't feel like they fit with the beat at all. So yeah, not a fan of the mix. What could have been a really great track was ruined by the mix, unfortunately. Track 8, Nutsack. You can tell that Young Nudy takes himself very seriously.
Playing with my nuts, scratching on this crack where I had it on my...
This man said, playing with my nutsack, scratching on this crack within the first 20 seconds of this track. Guys, I'm gonna be real. I know you guys recommended this project because you thought I might enjoy it, but it's really rough right now. We're 8 tracks in and it's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. You guys come to me because you know I'm honest at least, and you know that this really is the first time I'm listening to it, and I'm gonna give you my 100% honest opinion. And this track right now is, well, the project right now is really tough to get through, you know? This beat's really boring. Is it really gonna be like this all the way through? Let me skip ahead a little bit.
Okay. So that came in like a fucker in back in the kitchen, yeah, we counting up inches.
It's really this for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm not sitting through that one, man. Seriously, that one's just too tough to get through. I'm sorry, but this track is just too bad. This production's really boring. The hi-hats are extremely shrill. The upper frequencies in those hi-hats are hurting my ears, honestly. They should have EQ'd them a little bit better. The positive thing about this track is Young Nudy's performance. I'm not a fan of the verses. I hate that it's called Nutsack. I hate that he starts the track off saying, playing with my nutsack and scratching on this crack, something like that. Just ridiculous. But I like his performance. I needed this energy, you know, on what was the track? Fat Sane? Is that it? The second track that I said he really needed to be more energetic because the beat was really dope. I needed this energy. So his performance, really, really dope. The verse, kind of trash. The beat, really bad. The mix could be better. So not going to sit through almost 4 minutes of that at all. That's just a trash song. Money Making Mitch, track 9. Hey! This mix sounds clean. Oh my god. This goes stupid. Let's go. This is great. I love that they added the hi-hats here. That's a dope track, dude. The energy is there, the performance is there, the hook is there. I like the beat a lot. The mix is super clean. That's a great song, you know? That's a really dope song. So basically, young Nudy, very inconsistent at this time. You know, this is 2017 when he dropped it. Very inconsistent. We've got tracks that I'm really feeling and tracks that I hate. So it sucks that there aren't more tracks like this on the project, but this one was hitting and this one was really dope. Blah. This one was really dope. Hell Shell is track 10. Yo, look at Pierre on the melodies, bro. Let's go. What is he doing? This beat's so fire. He's letting it go to waste. He's so frustrating. I love the beat. He is ruining this track. He's so boring to listen to on this song, dude. Bro, the beat is so good. Like, it's so good. Pierre, that melody was just so fire. The drums are hitting. I love the sound he chose for the hi-hat. So unconventional, so different. I love it. The bass line was so fire. The mix was clean, you know, and he just decided to waste this track by absolutely being ridiculously boring on it. Barely giving any effort and just being completely unintelligible and just barely saying anything. Like, it's a difference between mumbling and just not saying anything, and that's really what it felt like he was doing. He was just like, literally, it felt like he didn't write anything down. He went into the booth and he literally just went really quietly so that we wouldn't notice that that's what he was doing. That's what this sounds like to me. This sounds like somebody who paid for the rights to a really dope beat and then just decided to throw it away and put it on an album. Super frustrating. That's trash. Ferris Wheel, track 11. And then he does this. How much more inconsistent can you be? How can you be trash and then fire out of nowhere, you know? This is fire. This is fire, but it's so tough to enjoy myself listening to it because I'm still so mad about those other tracks that are just bad, you know? Like, at this point, it's so tough to actually enjoy the songs when they're good. Yeah, that's a dope track, you know? The melodies are dope. He's actually singing on it, which was really cool to hear. The mix is clean, like the beat's fire. Everything about this is just really good. It's just, I wish he would have switched up the melodies every now and then, but still, I'm not going to complain about that. I'm just so frustrated by the inconsistency, you know, in the performances on this track, or on this project. Some of them are just so dope, and then some of them are just so trash. It's unbelievable. This is one of the projects that are the most up and down, you know, experiences I've ever listened to. One of those projects that just really make no sense, man. When you reflect on your experience listening to it for the first time, it's just highs and lows the whole way through, you know. Track 12, let's go.
Nigga really scary, throwing up the game. Nigga really
I'm not a huge fan of this beat. Kind of boring. I'm hoping for a switch up. I need a beat switch up, man. This beat's so boring. I'm not a fan of the beat. He was okay. His performance was dope. His energy was cool. I like the little, you know, hook that he was doing. He was kind of singing on it. He was fine. That beat is just not for me, man. It's not for me. The last track is No Clue featuring Lil Yachty.
What? Yeah, the whole brought me to a savage. Treat the whole like I'm a savage.
Yeah.
Fuck on your head. Kush pack, yeah, I'm blowing that.
Hey.
Doing 200, I'm blowing that. But it is hanging out with it, gang everywhere, go. Yeah, we hanging out. Yeah, these bitches, they choose.
Get a nigga knocked for like 50 bucks. Buy a nigga walking around with a centaur. Nigga, wow. They smash your home, ain't gonna ride for a while. In my face, all of my niggas on racks. Football.
Yeah, I'm blowing that.
Yeah, I like that song. I think that I could have done without the Lil Yachty feature. I'm not a huge Lil Yachty fan, and the mix on his vocals was just really bad. So, aside from his verse being pretty bad, the mix on his vocals was just terrible. I like the beat. I'm not a huge fan of that portion where the hi-hats are in 32nd notes. I think that 16th notes is really about as fast as you should go on this beat with the hi-hats. So I feel like maybe in those portions the hi-hats were doing a little too much. But for the most part, the beat is pretty fire. And then I like Young Nudy's performance on here. I like his flow. I think it's pretty dope. It's definitely, riding the beat really well. So all in all, this track is okay. It's an okay closer. It's a better closer than Judge Scott Convicted is an opener. So there is that. Let's talk about this project, man. All right, so I'm gonna be real. This project is not good. I would not recommend anybody to listen to this if they had never heard it. I'm not gonna go around saying, hey, you should listen to Nudy Land. I get that probably for the time period that it dropped, it makes a lot of people nostalgic nowadays, and so I can understand that. Looking back on it, it might sound better, but listening to it for the first time now with the landscape for hip hop the way that it is now, this album's not good. For the most part, the tracks are either boring or underwhelming or poorly mixed. There are very few highlights to this project. And I guess, in my opinion, hearing this for the first time now, the best thing about this project is that it shows us how much better Young Nudy has gotten. Because Slime Air and Anyways are just so much better than Nudy Land, in my opinion. So if you want to see a video of me enjoying a Young Nudy project, check out those two videos, the Slime Air video and the Anyways video. In fact, Anyways was so fun because I enjoyed the majority of those beats, the majority of those tracks. I break down the production just so in depth. I'm so entertained by it and so intrigued by it. It was a project that literally just grabbed my attention, and I had a blast breaking that down. But this, I was just waiting for it to be done. It got to a point where I was just through with this project. I was unenthused by it. I wasn't, entertained. I wasn't really grabbed and interested by it. I just think it doesn't sound great, in my opinion. So aside from those tracks that I said were fire, this project is nothing special. I wouldn't recommend it. So I know that it sucks, hearing me not like an album that you guys enjoy. And I am sad that I didn't enjoy this project that has been recommended to me for so long. But one thing I will never do is compromise the integrity of the review by being dishonest and trying to people please. I'm not going to do that. This is just how I feel about it. So at least you guys know that I'm being honest. Like I said, check out those other videos. For you Young Nudy fans that you haven't seen the Anyways and the Slime Air videos, check those out. Because, I am a fan of Young Nudy. I'm not a hater. And I am very happy of how far he's come and how much better his music has gotten since 2017. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to support the channel any way that you see fit by subscribing or following my social media, becoming a patron or a member on the channel. Both the members and the patrons get access to uncut, full-length reactions. And I will see you guys in another video very soon. Thanks for watching again. Until then, stay safe. Peace out.